had to suffer
Yeah.
because the husband says,
You know,
she's
where
now
you
trying to get where you're going and all this kind of stuff, you know. And there's, in fact, there's research done, I'm reading there a few years ago, to do with adult education and women who take on study as adults and returning to education.
Yeah.
A person that was doing a master's, and she was looking at the role of adult women returning to education.
Yeah.
And she found that in the research that it didn't make life happier for them.
Really? Yeah.
Because, people who return never had the opportunity for education, you know.
Yeah.
So when they become, to use that word, educated, they're able to reflect on the life they're having.
Yeah.
So it focused, it put the lens on the kind of life that they're having, you know. And the partner then wasn't able to accommodate the change.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Oh yeah,
You probably lost that yourself now.
Yeah.
Like you're working and you're going to college. Now some of your friends who are working but not going to college.
Oh,
they
absolutely.
kind of question you why.
I feel like I'm a broken record saying I have assignments. When
Saturday?
Saturday I've got college. You know.
But even when they're going on a tier, not going on a session or whatever they're up to, you're going to say, Jesus, why are you doing that? Like, you know, is there a need to do that? You know, you're beginning to.
I know, totally. Yeah.
You're beginning to kind of reflect negatively on what they're doing, you know, and their lifestyle, and that's something that the partners kind of indicate in a lot of research that they were moving away from where they were in their lives, you know. So that something suffered. And I think the recommendations were that the person who's going to college has to bring on the partner with study. You know, like for example, if a woman now has 2 kids and the husband has to get the dinner to the kids to accommodate the wife going out, the partner going out studying. You know, the person who's studying might say, look, we go for dinner next Saturday night. You know, in reference to your helping me out, you know, and you kind of engage with the person in terms of study, you know, and kind of keep the person informed on what's happening in the study rather than differentiating the lifestyle.
Yeah, and completely going. Yeah, I know.
Go
what
separate,
you mean.
so the marriage can go. So it's and travellers are like that. That the more education, the more. When we say more educated, the funny thing is, travellers are very educated in life. Like some of them now can't read or write. Yes, you can tell them cars out there, go back to Limerick. They can't read or write. They will get there quicker than you with your sat nav. You know, they would have skills that allow them to converse with a person and stop the car. How do you get?
I know.
Or you wouldn't have the confidence of them to get there. And some of them, they would know the first letter and say, okay, they would know on the map. You know, they have abilities that allow them to live on, you know.
And do you find
so I find making and in case I forget is that there's education happening in life which is not necessarily through a program, you know. There is that they have unbelievable skills,
absolutely,
which not necessarily acknowledged.
No.
And I think you would be a fool to think that they're not educated. Because they're highly educated in a different. And it goes back to Howard Gardner's different types of intelligence.
Multiple intelligence.
And they have that. You can see that, and that's why the likes of Martin Collins. Martin Collins left school at 13. If you heard him speaking, the language that he has. Turn of phrase that he has, the articulation that he has.
Brilliant.
It's unbelievable. And even get up in front, get on he's been on so many different TV chat shows talking about the culture of travels and how there's, you know, whatever it might be. Now, you or I, having third level education, wouldn't have the same abilities to be able to get up there. So
it's amazing, isn't it?
It's amazing, So really, even the numbers reflect very poor attendance, but there is education there within the community as well.
So do you think
there is, and that's sorry.
Keep talking.
There's terrible resilience.
Resilience,
community.
yes, there is, yeah.
Which we don't have in our society.
Yeah.
Like, if you encountered the pitfalls that they face in life, the struggles they face in life, you wouldn't last a day,
No.
Even the younger kids now, the name calling they get, the knacker bit and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
At a young age, like, even, I mean, there's many. I could recount many instances where even people got married and go for a meal, but they don't have a kind of formal party.
Yeah.
They go to a hotel for a dance after the wedding and not get in, on your wedding night, on your wedding day.
Yeah.
I mean, and there wouldn't be, there isn't. They're not wearing on their hat. They're going to be fighting here. There will be two innocent people, and the other thing is that our culture can really define what they look like.
Yeah.
In terms of
absolutely,
they're self-identified. If someone walks in there, you can only point to their traveller, not traveller.
Yeah. And then the people sitting around you who might have never seen a traveller before automatically assumes then, so that's what they look like.
And
so it's like discrimination, isn't there? Or stereotyping.
And, the other side of it is, if a girl brought home a boy to a parent, and where are you from? I'm a traveller from down the Hodgenstead down the road.
Yeah. Totally,
Second World War,
Yeah.
And so they have to deal with all those challenges.
Yeah.
And get to education then, to get the points with the college, or getting to college, it requires a certain strength within the young person. And for them to achieve then, and the challenges they face in college, it's very, very difficult. And that's why the numbers are so small. Even with all the supports now as well, it's all to do with the value in your education. Education won't open those doors. And it should open those doors.
And can I ask you, Jerry, for the likes of, say for instance, when traveller children are going to primary school and secondary school and third level, do you feel that teachers, they don't recognise the traveller culture? Do you feel there should be some sort of programme put in place?
There's been so much training on this, on interculturalism. But
is that interculturalism directed at?
But you see, it's very difficult. People will say you can't provide training on travel culture and so on, because travel culture is part of broader culture.
That's what I mean. So it's kind of tricky.
And there has been a lot of programs tried, and travellers themselves have come in and delivered training on travel culture and identity and history and all of that. But it's quite interesting. Teachers, it's very hard. Like, for example, she was talking. Actually, quite interesting. She was saying that there lately now. She was in the staff room. She was there to see one of the teachers who were out in training practice. And she went in and she was waiting for the teacher to come out from the toilet and have a chat with her. She sat down in the seat in the staff room. And she was there for a while. This teacher came up and stood in front of her and said, "Are you all?" She said, "Are you all right?" She said, "Do you realise you've taken my seat?"
Really?
Now there was separate. It was like, but this is my seat. You've taken my seat. And she could see the reaction. The other teacher were looking over and said, "You have taken her seat."
Really?
And she had to get up and, "I'm really sorry, I didn't realise." Thank you. Now, that the culture of teachers. It's like the unions now as well, and all of this, the development of the new junior cert. There's a lot of opposition there. You say, "Oh, Jesus, correcting their own papers. What's the problem with correcting your own papers as a teacher? Really, what's the problem? You're doing it anyway. You're doing it anyway. In third level, the lecturer corrects the students' papers. Why can't you correct?" And yet they're prepared to go on strike. So it's very difficult to change the culture. Even with all the training you provide. That they're not exposed to change. We do it this way now, whether you fit in or not. And she gives a very good example, actually. I thought it was quite interesting. Was this new teacher came in, and it was on training practice, and She just went to the principal, how is such and such a person look like?